What's going on, guys? So I'm working on the Dakota today. I'm a little bundled up because it's about 30 degrees outside. It's beginning of January here in Arkansas. Tickled pink that I've got a car lift in my garage, and I've got it set up to where I can close the garage door, and it's not too bad. I don't know, it's probably about 40 or 50 degrees in my shop or in my garage, but working on the Dakota today because we've had a series of crazy events happen to us. I actually just got out of the hospital yesterday. I had a little incident, but the day before I went to the hospital, our garage door spring broke on my wife's car side of the garage. And so I was in the hospital, and so she hopped in the truck to go visit me at the hospital, and the brakes gave out on the Dakota. So I'm just fresh out of the hospital and gonna fix the brakes on the Dakota. First trouble I've had out of it since we bought it. I knew it was gonna happen eventually, and I'll get into that here in just a little bit, but ran to the junkyard today, got me some parts, and you guys can complain if you want about junkyard parts, but I love junkyard parts. I found some junkyard gold, some brand new cross-drilled and slotted rotors at the junkyard. Yes, they're rusted, but that's because anytime your rotors sit for more than 3 seconds, they rust. I've literally sat and watched rotors rust on a rainy day. So I got new rotors, and I got the calipers on that same Durango that were in the junkyard were brand new. And yes, they're rusted, but they're brand new. And they had brand new brake pads in them. So got new calipers, new rotors, new brake pads for the front, and a spindle for this side because some idiot who I had, this part of the reason the brakes went bad. This side, the bolt on the bottom of the caliper, I don't know why, but they just took a really big bolt and crammed it in there. It's not even the right kind. It's not even one of these kind of slide bolts like this where the caliper slides on here as you apply and release the brakes. So I knew I was going to have to replace the spindle and everything eventually. That's why I went to the junkyard. I was really hoping I could find an 03 or 04 Dakota because they have 2-piston calipers on it, and I was hoping I could just change out the spindles and get a little upgrade, but I didn't. They had an 03, but it was 2-wheel drive, not 4-wheel drive, but this will get the job done, and I got $100 on all these parts. 2 calipers, 2 rotors, 2 sets of brake pads, a spindle with the hub on it, and everything for $100. So I'm gonna knock it out real quick and show you guys some of the issues that I had with this one. So the biggest part of the reason that I wanted to get all new calipers was because of how rusted these things are. They are just rusted solid. And here is the reason I had to get the new spindle. Somebody just took that bolt and just crammed it through there. I don't know how good you can see that, but they just threaded that thing through there. And what that did was kept this caliper assembly from sliding back and forth. So rather than try to Healy coil that thing or repair those threads or whatever, I just decided for $20 I could get a whole new spindle. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to replace the spindle on this side, put new brakes on it, and we'll get down the road. Well, that wasn't fun. I had to cut the stupid cotter key out of the bottom and use my impact gun to cut the cotter key with the castle nut and then drill the stupid thing out. But it came out, not a big deal. Now just onto these other ones. Castle nut for the axle off. Need a new cotter key, that's for sure. Yeah, let's see, that's really big. It's like a 32 millimeter, something like that. 32. with gentle persuasion. See, gentle persuasion. This is something I used to do when I was a mechanic, and you guys are probably going to give me hell for it, but they actually make brake line pinching tools, but I was always too cheap to buy them. So what I always do is take a pair of vice grips and a rag and just barely pinch the brake line, and then whenever you take this loose, it won't drip and drain all over the floor. They actually make plastic ones that bind in place, and I just never did buy them. Oh, I should have put a rag down there. All right, more gentle persuasion. Axle's loose. Oh man, get brake fluid everywhere. Dang it. How much fluid's in that caliper? Whole thing falling straight down to the ground after I persuade it to come loose. I'm going to thread that nut on there a couple times. I'm mechanicking. Yeah. Mechanicking is noisy. You get a better look at what I'm talking about. That is not a slide bolt, and it's crammed all the way through the spindle. But never fear, pick and pull is here to save the day for cheap. I've probably said this 100 times. I'll probably say it 100 more. This ain't a hot rod. It ain't a show truck. It's a work truck. If ever there was a work truck. So I'm not going to clean it. I'm not going to put expensive parts on it. It's just going to be what it is. And that's a cheap, old, dirty truck that I can haul wood in, tow cars with, brake stuff. Just a cheap, dirty old truck. Safe. And these brakes look like they're brand new, and that truck in the junkyard I pulled it off of. Well, that's a new development. CV shaft on this side's got a torn boot. That's aggravating. It was in the junkyard too. I could have got one. Well, looks like since I got the whole thing apart, might as well just fix it. You holding it?
Yeah.
Okay, you can let go.
I got to.
Flip. again. Okay, press it and hold it. Okay.